I wonder who the most high capacity, high output person is that you know. Someone who just gets stuff done. You know, is there a name or a face that comes to mind? Because, you know, I find I work with a lot of high capacity, high output people. And I find that when you work with these individuals, they're not smarter than the rest of us. They don't even necessarily work harder than the rest of us. The reason they can be so effective is because they are intentional. They are intentional, ruthlessly intentional, in fact, about how they use their time every single day. And I want to share with you a tool in this video over the coming few moments that I've picked up from working with some of the most high capacity people that I've engaged with as clients in recent years. It's a tool I call the Productivity Blueprint. And if you grasp this, it has the potential to revolutionize how effective and productive you are every single day. It has the potential to let you massively leverage your efforts, so to get better results without necessarily working harder. And at the core of this productivity blueprint is the good old-fashioned to-do list. Now, I don't know how many of you use a to-do list every single day. Can I suggest that's a great start? Because, I mean, to-do lists are like base level intentionality. It's going into your day saying, this is what I want to achieve today, and that's a great start. And if you don't use a to-do list, the reality is you will have a to-do list set for you. It'll be your inbox. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your day reacting and responding to everything immediate happening around you. And that is the opposite, of course, of intentionality. You let yourself be led by everything in the world surrounding you rather than being deliberate about how you spend your day and every hour in it. And yet, while a to-do list is great, it's a great start, it is not the substance of your to-do list that is the key to productivity. It is the sequence with which you move through your to-do list. That's where the gold lies. Now, I want you to think from this point forward that every activity on your to-do list falls into one of three categories. The first category is the simple tasks, the second category is the complex, and the third category of tasks is the routine. And so let's look at what those three are, because I want to challenge you every day to look at your to-do list and break the items on that list into these three categories. The simple tasks are the easy things. They're the things that line up with your skill set. They're even a bit of fun to do. You can get them done quickly. There's a sense of energy. The more of these simple things you do, the more energy you have. The complex tasks, however, they're the things that you don't enjoy doing. They're perhaps not a natural skill set with your temperament, but you've got to get them done. I mean, they're just part of your daily role, and they're often the things that get you the best results. You've just got to get those things done, but they're not easy. They're easy to procrastinate, in fact, and often they require a deep level of focus and concentration, even creativity. Now, the third category, the routine tasks, they're the business as usual things. They're not glamorous, they're not exciting, they're not particularly easy, they're the mundane stuff. There's still stuff you've got to get done in your role. Now, looking at your to-do list in those three categories, this is how I would highly recommend you use every block of time throughout your day. And I say block of time because you may only have an hour between meetings, or you might have an hour and a half from when you get into the office before you got to go out to a coffee break, or whatever it is. If you've got a block of time, here's how to use that block of time to get the most from the time that you've got. The first key is to spend the first 20% of that block of time doing the simple things. So 20% of that block of time just doing the stuff that's simple and easy. Now, the interesting thing is the simple tasks are not about productivity per se. It's not about what you're getting done. It's about getting moving, getting in motion. Newton's first law of motion tells us that objects that are stationary tend to stay stationary. Objects that are moving tend to stay moving, and it's much easier to speed them up. This is often referred to as the law of inertia. And those simple tasks, they're the best antidote to procrastination. Because if you've only got to start with a couple of things that are easy, you can get done quickly, or a natural skill set fit for you, you're far less likely to put those things off. So you do the simple tasks just to get moving. I mean, this is why if you want something done, you give it to a busy person. Someone who's busy is already in motion, so you add another thing to their plate and it's not a big deal. Someone who's not moving, who's motionless, who's not busy, you give them one task, it feels like the hardest thing in the world. And so just these simple things get you off go, they get you busy, they get you moving. Then after that 20%, you swap your attention to the complex tasks. These are the things that are not easy, not a natural skill set fit. You've got to get them done though. They require focus and creativity. And then the last 40% of that block of time, then you turn your attention to the routine things. Now, the reason I say having intentionality is so critical is because if you don't have some degree of intentionality about the order with which you move through those things on your to-do list in the time allocated, what will tend to happen with that intentionality is you'll spend the first 50 to 60% of every block of time doing the routine things. You'll open your laptop, you'll open your email, you just go through and respond to things. And you'll swap to a few simple tasks, and then after you've done the routine and the simple, 7 minutes before you got to race out the door to a meeting, you'll go, oh gosh, I've got to get to that complex task, that thing I've been putting off. And of course, it's easy to procrastinate because it's not fun, it's not easy, it requires concentration. You think, well, I've only got 7 minutes, I can't do it justice now, I'll come back to it tomorrow. And then tomorrow becomes next week, which becomes next month. And I wonder how many of you have got things on your to-do list that have been there for weeks or months or years in some cases. And what are those things? They're the complex tasks. And so if you can adopt this framework, the simple first, then the complex, then the routine, you'll be amazed how this revolutionizes your effectiveness and your productivity.